Now that travel's finally becoming as common again as it was before COVID, it's reasonable to expect the adventurous risk takers amongst us to also want to travel again. From areas that showcase live lightning strikes to stormy deserts straight out of a sci-fi movie, it's easy to overlook the chaotic beauty of these places. Today we'll be talking about 10 tourist spots with the most extreme weather. This video is perfect if you're thinking of traveling this next year. Number 10, Danakil Desert, Ethiopia. Known to be one of the most extreme places on Earth, the Danakil Desert is a marvel of nature. Located in Ethiopia, this desert is a whopping 125 meters below sea level. The area of this desert covers huge swaths of northeastern Ethiopia and dusty plains and arid valleys. The equatorial temperatures peak above 130 Fahrenheit on a regular basis, partly due to the intense geothermal activity the region is predisposed to. And if you think that's impressive, let us introduce you to the Danakil Depression. Known to be the desert's most striking corner, the Danakil Depression actually accumulates sulfur deposits on its surface. Salt crusts also form on the saline lakes, all while literal ponds of lava boil next to craters. It's a natural wonder itself, and while there is little to no human habitation in this region, one can spot a semi-regular camel caravan or two carrying minerals to ports on the coast. Number 9, Death Valley, USA. With a name like Death Valley, you expect this location to deliver on its implied extremity and chaos, and it definitely does. Also known as the hottest place in the world, Death Valley is located in California, USA. A creek located inside Death Valley, Furnace Creek, aptly named so, actually holds the record for the hottest place in the world at 134 recorded degrees Fahrenheit. This temperature was recorded way back in 1913, and if you thought the intense title this landmark holds would have been enough to sway people in a different direction, you'd be wrong. Thousands of people flock to the Death Valley National Park regularly to witness the area themselves every year. This is because despite the scorching heat, the rugged vistas of the canyons and hoodoos from Zabriskie Point are almost indescribable in their beauty. Other activities popular amongst tourists of this area are witnessing active ghost towns in the Mojave Desert and stargazing under the clearest night skies. Number 8, Glen Etive, Scotland. This stunning location in the Scottish Highlands is as stunning as it is turbulent. Prone to active and heavy rainfall all year round, Glen Etive of Scotland is cited as one of the wettest places in all of the United Kingdom regularly. More than that, the area itself also features several famous whitewater kayaking spots, popular activity amongst adventurous tourists who make their way there. The location itself is also a regular star in itself, as it appeared in multiple big-budget movies such as Braveheart and even Skyfall. Number 7, Lake Maracaibo, Venezuela. Hold tight for this next travel destination because its beauty is quite literally hazardous. Located in Venezuela, Lake Maracaibo is prone to massive bolts of lightning pretty regularly. Massive lightning storms engulf the skies of Lake Maracaibo in Venezuela for 10 whole hours, 260 days of the year. That's way more than half the year. But why do these intense atoms occur regularly in a singular place? Well, due to intense and incredible atmospheric anomalies caused by hyper-specific environmental factors that are only found in this part of the world. These storms are able to form with as much diligence as they do. Number 6, Atacama Desert, Chile. The Atacama Desert in Chile is not only home to a singular extremity, but two. The first is an extremely high altitude. The desert access at a roaring 1,500 meters on the plateaus of northern Chile. But the more interesting extremity, and one that we're set to cover today, is concerning its weather. The region is impossibly dry. It gets a mere 15 millimeters of raindrops every year. That's an astonishingly small amount of water, even for deserts. Suffice it to say, if you plan to make your way to this particular desert, pack a lot of water. If you're wondering why this particular region is so parched, one reason is its proximity to and its position in between the mighty Andes and the Chilean Coast Range. This proximity stops any considerable precipitation coming in from the Pacific Ocean. But more than that, it even means that some of the highest peaks, which often run above a hefty 600 meters, remain free from snow and ice. Number 5, Antarctica. Lost at the pole of the planet, Antarctica is often overlooked when it comes to weather extremities it is a home to. This vast, desolate location is eerie eerie, filled with craggy fells, creaking glaciers, and billowing winds. It's the only place on Earth with temperatures breaking the negative 100 degrees Fahrenheit mark in the height of the winter season. The coldest temperature ever recorded was set at a place in Antarctica, Vostok Station on the East Antarctic Plateau, back in 1883, and was noted to be a shiver-inducing 128 degrees Fahrenheit below zero. Now, of course, this is not a region one can just casually travel to, but even so, travel expeditions to Antarctica are rising in amount. The best way to reach Antarctica is by boat across the wild Drake Passage, following in the footsteps of Scott and Shackleton. Number 4. Mauseeram, India. Mauseeram, located in the deep and gorgeous hills of Meghalaya State in northern India, is known to be the wettest inhabited place in the whole entire world. On these hills, the average rainfall amounts to a whopping 170 inches every year. Most of this intense rainfall takes place during the monsoon season, presumed to be around June to October of every year, when warm air is coerced by the ridges of the Indian Himalayas. The town itself is surrounded by multitudes of greenery and lushness, creating stunning natural landscapes. This beautiful scenery is what draws most wandering adventurers who wish to see the gushing cataracts of the Mauseeram Falls. Other reasons tourists feel drawn to Mauseeram are the remote hiking paths of the Khasi Hills and the dank cave systems that still haven't been fully explored. Number 3. Hokkaido, Japan. If you're in a way interested in skiing and consider yourself a powder hound, you may have very possibly heard of Japan's Hokkaido. Situated high up at the north end of the Japan archipelago, the Hokkaido island sits in the path of a unique airstream that blows across from Siberia and collects a bunch of moisture over the Sea of Japan. This creates perfect tiny crystals of white, ones that start in November and end in March. Locals and travelers alike appreciate and celebrate Hokkaido's penchant for powder during the infamous Sapporo Snow Festival. This is when breathtaking ice sculptures are placed in the parks of the island's biggest city. This, of course, also results in intense skiing and snowboarding in world-class resorts such as Niseko. Number 2. Oymyakon, Russia. Known to be the coldest inhabited place in the world, Oymyakon in Russia is just as shiver-inducing as you would presume it to be. Thermometers have read an average of negative 72 degrees Fahrenheit in mid-winter months, which is insane in and of itself. But peak lows in the region have even dipped to 100 Fahrenheit under. This, if you remember, has been the case for Antarctica as well, but no one actively resides in Antarctica. North of the Sea of Okhotsk in the very depths of Siberia. And this town particularly is home to just about 500 people throughout the year. Most of these people have careers related to the field, like being reindeer herders or wild fishers, descendants of the town's first settlers who arrived some 100 years ago who continue the family business, we suppose. Number 1. Kauai, Hawaii. Hawaii is the one place on this list that everyone watching has definitely heard of. When talked about, most people imagine salt-encased skin and sunny skies flooding warmth upon one's bones. But there's one factor many people neglect to think about. Hawaii itself is located around multiple active volcanoes. Not just active volcanoes, but also some of the world's most active geothermal areas known to mankind. These areas hit a peak with the summit of brooding Kilauea. This is located around 1,247 meters above the sparkling Pacific Ocean and has been spewing magma and sulfur into the air nonstop since the 1980s. And if you're thinking that's not safe, you wouldn't be wrong. As for how to fix it, scientists claim that they see little sign of the phenomenon stopping anytime soon. In fact, many scientists even claim that an eruption is due anytime soon. And while you'd think humans may have learned from the past, you'd be incorrect. And many brave-hearted and adrenaline-seeking travelers still make their way to the island. Over 1 million, to be somewhat exact. These travelers actively seek the lava tubes and smoking fumaroles of the mountains within the Hawaii Volcanoes National Park each year, perhaps to explore them, or in a heedless act of risk-taking. And that's all for the video. Would you visit these places or avoid them at all costs in your travels? Let us know down below. If you enjoyed watching the video, be sure to leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon to get notified every time we post a new video. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.